That's 3539 Vineville Avenue in Macon. The team that works with you to help you through your pain. They lighten your load by assisting you with your insurance claims, working with your attorney, doctors to escort you through this process. Vertice from WDDO had a personal experience, and he says this is the place to go. Make that call at 478-471-0774. Make that call, 478-471-0774. Cranford Chiropractic. Cranford Chiropractic, lining you up one patient at a time.
We've been practicing law a long time. We may be a little short on catchphrases and catchy telephone numbers, but we sure have helped a lot of people. If you've got a legal problem, call us. We may be able to help you.
Are you stepping out in style? But Dot's Forget Me Not have you covered. They have you covered in fashion. It's the blowout sale of the year. Yes, 50% off. Yes, I said it, 50% off. Special items, unique women's fashion, jewelry, small to plus sizes at Dot Forget Me Not. 623 Cherry Street, downtown Macon, Georgia, across from Suez Bank.
Connecting the community through gospel.
The new 107.9 FM, W300EB.
Macon and WDDO 980 AM
Perry.
Macon. Connecting the community through gospel.
The new 107.9 FM, W300EB.
Macon and WDDO 980 AM
Perry.
Macon.
The views expressed on this program are not necessarily the views of the Glory 980 AM, the Glory Media Group, LLC, WDDO AM, its staff, management, or advertisers, but are the views and opinions of the participants of the broadcast.
Boy, it seems like that theme song goes on and on and on. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. We want to welcome you to another edition. By now, you know that it's Wednesday, it's 3 p.m. because you see us here on Ask Elaine. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is your voice, Commissioner Elaine Lucas, welcoming you to the program, whether you're listening on AM 980, 107.9 FM, whether you're on Facebook Live, either way, we welcome you. Randy Crawford is already there with us. Our very special guest today is none other than my friend of long standing, Reverend Dr. Henry C. Ficklin. And we served together for about 20 years as a member of the Macon City Council. And now he is back with government again. He's had a long career in education, a long career in the ministry, being the most efficient pastor of Mount Vernon Missionary Baptist Church, and of course serving as one of your servant leaders. But now he's taken on a new role, and that role is as executive director of community affairs in the administration of Mayor Lester Miller. And he is involved with so many things that tend to lift this community until we're just very, very happy that he could make time today from his busy schedule to come by and to talk with us and to give you firsthand information about what's going on with your government. If you have a question, if you have a comment, if you would please call us at 478 250 1444. We would be glad to hear from you. We want to thank Sharon Talton for joining us. We also want to thank Pastor Lisa. I don't know whether Pastor Lisa is rested or not yet. She's been doing so much. She's been full speed. Ricky Crawford, Pastor Lisa, Sharon Talton, Susan Smith, Randy Crawford, all of you, welcome, welcome, welcome. And we will be welcoming those who choose to post something in the chat to let us know that they are there. You're going to be informed today. You're going to hear the latest, most current information that about what's going on. And so, just sit back and relax. But if you have a question, if you have a comment, please, please either put it in the chat or call us 478 250 1444. Senator Lucas says, Happy New Year. And we want to congratulate him. He was in Swainsboro on Monday and he was recognized by the folks there, Mr. Al Houston, and a bunch of other activists in the Swainsboro area. He was recognized for his almost 50 years of work, of servant leadership in this community, and received a beautiful, beautiful plaque. And I am just glad that people are recognizing folks while they are around and able to appreciate it. So, Pastor, uh, Lisa says she's trying to rest. She's trying to rest. So, we also have Patricia Booz who has joined us, and we're just so happy to have you there. I know my sister is listening on radio. Dr. Butler has joined us, and she says, Good afternoon, Madam Commissioner and Dr. Henry Ficklin, two of our hardest working servants in the Macon Bibb community. We are so pleased because, you don't always hear kind things. A lot of times you will hear when folks are upset. Like we had some old a woman, I know she is, and it's everybody's right to come and to address your county government. It's everybody, absolutely everybody's right. But this particular woman came down and she was so misinformed. She actually got up before the mayor and the commission and told a bunch of untrue stuff about the district attorney. And of course, Al Tillman spoke up and said, "You just don't know what you're talking about." Basically, what I'm paraphrasing, and I said it doubly. You don't know what you're talking about. She blamed the district attorney for the crime and for the unfortunate deaths of citizens and all of that. Now, think. Do you think that the DA is responsible for the DA has been on this program many times and she's explained the work of her office. It's and she is. Are you near that microphone, Doc, so that we can hear you? Um, but yeah, you're right, Pastor Lisa. Ignorance is the word that she's using. The lady does not know. She's misinformed. Obviously, has to be somebody who is not a fan of the DA, but you have to tell the truth because other people know the truth and they will come back and straighten it out. And I hope that it was straightened out last night. If we need to share some more information with you, we will. But y'all get ready for a tough fight to keep our DA in office. She has done so much to enrich the lives of people, not just putting people on trial, not just getting the bad guys put away, but she has run an efficient operation there. She has utilized funds. And as a matter of fact, we gave final approval last night at the commission. Um, um, she was at the commission. My engineer is giving me some direction so I don't blow up the station. That's their goal every week to make sure I don't blow up the station. But yeah, um, but we gave final approval to a grant that the district attorney's office applied for and received several $1 million for the DA's RISE program, RISE, which is intended for young people. And I was in attendance several weeks ago at the graduation of the first 20 young people who benefited from that program. It's children who are challenged, who could be misled, and those children are taken in, and they're a part of a wonderful RISE program where they receive counseling and all kinds of services, beneficial services. And then she had them to have a graduation. And it was a wonderful, wonderful graduation. And these young people were treated to a special dinner, to a special shopping trip by Merry Christmas, Mike Kaplan and his organization, and other kinds of things. So when you hear somebody talking about the DA, they are badly misinformed. They just don't like her, or there's somebody that's trying to start some opposition. That's the start of that opposition. And that's the way it goes. People start talking about you, they tell lies on you, they try to undercut what you're doing. And so beware, everybody, just beware. Pastor Lisa says she's using her office to make a serious impact and difference in our community. And Dr. Butler says she's a hardworking and self sacrificing DA. And that
We
is
certainly agree with
absolutely
both of
true.
those comments too.
Uh huh. Mm-hmm. Okay, now we can hear you, Dr. Ficklin,
Okay.
and I didn't blow up the station.
All right.
Dr. Ficklin, there is, tell us first of all, what's involved in your job. It might be a shorter list to tell what's not involved in your job, but tell us basically, you hold a very, very important position in this administration. I believe you were the first hire
Yes.
for this new administration. So if you'll tell us that, and then we're going to talk about the housing program that's going to help us to have some new housing and renovate some existing housing.
Yeah. Thank you so much. And it's always good to be on your show. And uh, I'm just amazed at how you have kept it going all of the years.
This is 10
I
years.
remember when it
Yeah.
first started, and of course, we have had the community to buy into it, and they have been informed, and they continue to be informed. And I congratulate you on 10 years
Yeah.
of
Thank
being
you.
steadfast with letting the community know the kinds of things that are going on. The Office of the Community Affairs is the mission of the Mayor's Office of Community Affairs, and I'll give you the official definition.
Mhm.
The mission of the Mayor's Office of Community Affairs is to define, inform, investigate, incentivize, and facilitate service deliverance and strategic initiatives while promoting and advancing through continued relationship building in the community the goals of the mayoral vision of diversity, equity, and inclusion.
All right, then. Okay. Now, you came into this office, and I know that you're well prepared for it with all of the work that you've done in the community. It begins with the basic educational foundation, and of course, you have that, and then the ministerial, the faith leadership, and then, of course, teaching for how many years?
39.
39. Oh my, 39 years. And then, of course, the service on the city council. All that together certainly gives you a wealth of knowledge in doing what you do, and we appreciate the goals that are set out. Let's talk about this latest initiative, which is the housing. What was the name of it? Um, we approved
7.5.
7.5 million that's going to be matched by a foundation, and that will be
Hopefully
an
several
addition.
foundations.
Yeah, and there's an additional 7.5 million, which means that it's a total of
15
15
million.
million now that's proposed. And this was an ordinance to authorize the appropriation of up to 7.5 million in American Rescue Plan Act funds. That's President Biden, y'all.
Mhm.
Monies that he and the Democrats in Washington have been able to pull together. They're going to have a very difficult time the next 2 years, which means we're going to have a very difficult time. But let's stay behind our elected officials to make sure that they have that strength to continue working for us. But anyway, and the purpose of the funding is for affordable housing development and blight remediation in Macon Bibb County. Now, that's what so many people have been asking for years and years
Years
and
and years.
years, even back to when we were serving together on the council and up through this consolidated government. We've been asking not just for blight to be removed, but also for some affordable
Housing.
housing for families that cannot afford. We have, how many people are in hotels now? Do you know how
I,
many families have to stay in hotels now
I,
because there's no houses
well,
available?
I don't know exactly how many families are there, but we know that there are more than 500 children who are living in hotels, and they come to school from a hotel every day. So that gives you some indication as to how many families are homeless. And there's a great need for housing in Macon and Middle Georgia. And we're just so happy that the commission and the mayor has decided to appropriate this money coming from Biden's American Rescue Funds, because that's what it is doing. It's going to help to rescue us. And this money will be levied with other funds that are coming in. And of course, the first initiative that went out, the houses are already coming on board now. If you go down Oglethorpe, you'll see where the Historical Society has built, I think, 7 units, which means that there are
Mm-hmm.
14 houses, 14 families uh, can have a place to stay now. So we're hoping to see that crop up all over Macon and
Mm-hmm.
Middle Georgia, because there is a definite need for housing in
Mm-hmm.
our
Mm-hmm.
community.
And I would like for people, rather than sit around and try and figure out what's wrong with everything, look around and it's your right to say what you want to have happen, but kind of look at what's being
Done,
done.
yes.
Look at the blight. Look at the fact that the neighborhoods are cleaner. But you know what? Once they're cleaned up, people come right back
Hmm.
and throw their KFC box, their crystal, any crystal, oh yeah,
Yeah,
crystal,
Chris.
any church's chicken
Yeah,
offices, stores left in Macon.
I think it's
There's one.
one
I,
on,
anyway,
in your district in
no,
Shirley.
that one's
They've
closed.
closed that one also. I didn't know.
Nobody's been in there, and then Panona is
I
closed.
know
The only
Capital.
one I know of is on Mercer.
Hmm.
On That's the only one I
Oh,
know.
I didn't know that.
Anyway, you take your paper and all your trash and all that stuff and you throw it out where people have worked really hard to clean up. So don't fuss, when you let your children throw their trash and stuff out where people have tried to clean up. But there's a lot going on in this community. I know that there's a lot going on, or I wouldn't tell you
And there is
that
a
there's a
big
lot.
difference, and people who have been in Macon can see the difference with the houses. I mean, 400 houses in less than 2 years
Uh-huh.
coming down houses that were blighted in communities and what
Burned
have
out
you,
next
burned
to
out
our
houses.
houses.
And so that in itself is a great thing. And then, of course, Clean Streets Matter is an initiative. And, of course, to clean up the streets. And, of course, I was just looking out on Jeffersonville Road the other day. We had a little trip out there. But
Yeah.
then there's a whole lot of people, like you say. We have got to change the mindset of people that you don't take your trash from the car and throw it out the window. And
Uh-huh.
that's how it gets on
Uh-huh.
the side of the road.
Or put it down out of your car in the parking lot
Mm-hmm.
for it to spread all over and for somebody to run over
Yeah.
and spread it out. That's trifling.
Yeah, people
That's
have got to have
trifling.
a new kind of mindset so we can keep our community clean,
Right.
and we won't have
Right.
to be going back using this money that can be going somewhere else to try to clean that up.
Yeah.
So a lot of it relies upon what people do, and we know that people can do better, and
Uh-huh.
that's what we need to continue to tell them. And the message needs to go out over and over again that don't do this, don't do that. You know, when we were growing up, they had the litter bug out that
Yeah.
talks about
Yeah.
don't
Don't
litter,
be a little
don't be a
bug.
litter bug. And of
Mm-hmm.
course, those kinds of initiatives and kind of encouragement probably needs to resurface
Uh-huh.
so that we can train younger people.
Mm-hmm.
If you live in this community, then this is your community. Don't dirty your community up.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, don't throw that paper down. There's a receptacle there. Put it in there rather than throwing it on the ground
Right.
and having the place where you live look bad.
Right. Right. And then you talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't they come and pick
Mm-hmm.
this up? Why don't they come when it's folks in the area that are putting the stuff?
Mm-hmm.
I remember years ago over in Fort Hill, I represented Fort Hill at the time. We had a massive, massive dump there. And we went in, had a Saturday cleanup. Some of the churches had folks. We actually had the public works department in there. They actually had to use the bulldozers to pick up this trash because there was a neighborhood dump in there. Many of you remember it. And I went back a few weeks later, and guess what?
It's right back.
It was right back. People were dumping, actually using that as the a dump. We can't do it that way.
We've
We
cleaned
can't
up on
continue.
Panzer Avenue over in Unionville. There is a site there that people just use as a regular dump.
Mhm.
And when we now, the convenience centers are available.
Right.
All
There
you
are
have to
two
do is
that
just
are
take it
open.
to the convenience
Right.
center. But they continue to dump that. And I think that we've had that cleaned off more than 20 times since this mayor has been in office.
But let me tell you this, there are cameras that are being placed in a whole lot of different locations. And of course, they're not going to tell you because then, but there are cameras that are being placed in a number of locations. And when you back your truck or car, whatever it is, up and you dump the mattress or the sofa, like, I don't know, maybe Recreation Road is the sofa location.
Yeah.
Because people come out there and leave sofas
We just
all
had
the time. Is that the
had that
sofa
clean-
location?
we just
The
had that
sofa
cleaned out.
spot.
And Massaville Road,
And
we
that's
just had
about
that cleaned up
how
about a
many
week.
times
Mhm.
has people go, but there are cameras going in, y'all.
Yeah.
And so you're not going, if you're dumping or you know somebody who's doing all this dumping, who clean out an apartment or clean out a house, or they don't want to take their stuff wherever or have it picked up, and they decide to go dump it, you're gonna be on camera, and you're gonna be real famous.
And of
And
course,
then they're gonna come knocking on your door.
if they think that the school cameras for speeding through the
Oh
school zone
my.
was bad, they just wait till they start
Oh my.
collecting these people who've gone out and dumped on the side of the street.
Ricky Crawford says Center Street over there. People go. They surely do go, because people have asked me about it over the years, about these different locations. And in Unionville, there's an area down behind where Bethel AME, Bethel CME Church, back in that area there.
behind the
That
cemetery right
had
there.
been used. It was a street,
Mm-hmm.
and we rode down it one time several years ago, and it was an absolute dump. It was where people were taking their trash and dumping it out, furniture, just any and everything. And you would just say, who would do this
Mm-hmm.
kind of stuff? Why would somebody be so sorry that they couldn't take this stuff? You have your home pickup, you have your recyclables that are picked up. Now you have two convenience centers. One is on 11th Street,
Mm-hmm.
down below the old Public Works Department, where you can take all of your stuff. If you're a citizen, you can take your stuff, just show your driver's license, and then there are little sections, and you can go and
Just
put
put it.
your different things in those different spots
That's right.
in that convenience center. There's another one out behind the Animal Welfare
Mm-hmm.
Center on Fulton
Fulton
Mill
Mill. Fulton
Road.
Mill. Mm-hmm.
That's out there that you can go and take your different things, your items. You take them in. You're a citizen of Macon Bibb County. You're paying for it. It's your right to go in and leave your trash out there. And so I just and the plan is to have a convenience center in all of the areas of Macon Bibb County, so that it will be convenient. But now you can use the two
That are
that are
already in
in
place.
place,
Mm-hmm.
in addition to your household garbage and recyclables being picked up. It's my understanding that if you still have one of the old green carts, that there's an attempt to make sure there are no more of those out there, and you can request a blue recyclables
Mm-hmm.
container, and you should have one red one
Yes.
for your household garbage. Patrick Davis, Dr. Ficklin, has joined us. He's our statistics person, our researcher, and we thank him. And he's also worked with Gabio in doing some research, and he has posted in the chat an article, goloadup.com, that talks about furniture removal and a number of other things. Um,
Amze Ross.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, she says you were her eighth grade teacher.
I was. I
Welcome,
remember.
Amzie.
She was a smart young student too.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Mr. Cotton, who is a retiree from Macon Bibb, and we're glad to have him. He says you have to keep
The
um
right of way clean.
the right of way
Mm-hmm.
clean. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, question from Patrick, Dr. Ficklin.
Mm-hmm.
Who would be specifically eligible for this fund? Oh, for the housing.
Mm-hmm.
The housing. We need to get back to that too, because it's so important for this fund. And is it for renters, current homeowners who need repairs? Who is responsible in regards to taking applications from Macon Bibb's government? So, if you could.
Well, one of the things is that this money is going to be levied with some of the agencies that are already in place, like the Newtown and Historical Agency, and then you will make an application to them. Now, what you do with the money is if you're going to have rental places or you're going to build houses for resale, all of that will be something that you will apply for. And of course, when we have $15 million out there, we hope that it'll make a big impact on housing and making people have an affordable, clean place to live going forward. But all of that is still being decided. It was just passed last night, and of course, we'll just keep your ears, eyes open so that you can know where to go and apply, and to whom the funds are going to be given to, so that they can be dispersed equitably in our community.
Right. And we're going to keep giving out as much information as we possibly can. But folks who are in the business
Mhm.
of renovations some of these vacant lots where dilapidated structures have been removed. It's called infill.
Infill.
Infill, where you go in and you put a structure
Yeah.
in
And you,
a vacant
yeah, you can,
lot.
and those lots, they first go on sale at auction with the tax commissioner to try to recoup the tax that are owed on those properties. And then if it doesn't sell there, then it's transferred to the land bank. And then if you want to invest in it, you can probably get it from the land bank at a much more reasonable cost than you can get it from the tax commissioner, so that you can go in and with a plan to put a structure there to infill. It's in
Hmm.
a neighborhood. Maybe there's
Hmm.
a lot there, and you put a house there to help that neighborhood to continue to come back and be a livable place for someone to have a nice home
Right,
in.
right. There's such a shortage of housing. Uh, there are some houses and the rent is just through the roof.
Oh
It's
yeah,
too expensive for the average family to afford, and
yeah.
so people end up renting these structures that have this high rent, and a lot of times they're only able to stay a couple of months, and then next thing you know, there's a pile of
Yeah.
the trash outside, and the next month somebody
So it's
else
back there.
is in there.
Because what we have happened, we have what I call carpetbaggers. They're
That's
coming in
exactly.
and they are buying up property. They probably give you a call. Do you want to sell your
Oh
property?
yeah.
So that they can go there and do a minimum amount of work, and then they want to boost the price up so high
Right.
because they know that it is lucrative for them to have that property because they're going to have a high rent on it.
That's right.
And of course, people need somewhere to stay. People would rather try to pay a high rent. You'd be
Hmm.
surprised at what people are paying to stay in hotels.
Oh, I know.
Some people are paying $40 a night to stay in a hotel. 10 nights, that's $400.
Hmm.
Another 10 nights, that's $800. Another 10 nights, that's $1,200. That's a mortgage payment.
Right.
And people are doing that day in and day out just so they can get in out of the weather.
Right.
So
Right.
it's very lucrative for these people to come in and try to do a little something to fix up a house and rent it out to people because we have such a shortage. And of course, hopefully, this 15 point whatever $1 million that we
Hmm.
are able to get together is going to have an impact and cause people to have somewhere decent to stay, and that's going to help bring down the overall rental costs.
Right, right. There's a lot of development. Macon, I feel like Macon is at a point where we're about to really start to realize our potential.
Yeah.
We have the new interchange, I-1675, and it is tremendous. And every time there's a progress made, it makes it safer for us to travel. All of you remember all the deaths and
Mhm.
accidents that happened with the old inter well, it was interstate. It was
Yeah, it's called the interstate
1675.
five.
It was just two strips
Yeah.
going this way and that way. But due to the perseverance and the help and the tenacity of Senator Lucas,
Mhm.
to former Mayor Ellis, Mayor Rickard was very supportive of it as well. But bottom line is, our legislators held that money
Mhm.
and made sure that Macon has it. And from what I understand, the latest information is there will be jobs and work going on for the next six
Yes.
years,
Mhm.
which is putting a lot of money into the pockets of folks who work. And so, and also it provides for the additional traffic coming through,
Mhm.
and especially coming out of Savannah. And by the way, those of you who are looking for careers that will be around, look in healthcare, look in education, unfortunately look in corrections,
Mhm.
and then also things like welding and CDL,
Yeah.
truck
Driving.
driving.
Mhm.
All of those are hot careers. They've been around all the while, but now you always need folks in healthcare. So that's a field that you need to be looking at. CDL, driving trucks. With the dredging and deepening of the Port of Savannah, there is such a need for more and more. How do you think all those goods get off the ships and then get inland, get all over the United States by truck
And then,
coming out of Savannah?
and then delivery trucks as well, because
Yes.
people are ordering more things
Yeah, local.
online, and they
Uh-huh.
need that stuff to
Yeah.
come to your house. So
Yeah.
there's a big commodity there, and then it might be some other opportunities for people who want to go into that business,
Right.
because UPS and the post office and DHL, they can't deliver it all,
Right.
because there are just so many people now who have opted to order from online.
Online.
And we have right here in Macon,
Present.
we have
Yeah.
the company right here in Macon that is shipping out a lot of things every day.
Yeah. Yeah. So those of you who are sitting around and you're thinking, why I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't know. Help them, point them in the direction of those different. One good computer site and one that we have all of our students to set up a free account is georgiafutures.org. georgiafutures.org. And it is a free site that all Georgians pay for. It is free to all Georgia citizens. It's georgiafutures.org. And you go and you create an account. You can keep it forever. It's funded through the Georgia Department of Education. It is a site that has information on all of the careers that there are, including the military and all of the others. And it gives you the prospects for those careers. What are the hot careers? What are the ones? How many people are going to be needed in these careers over the next so many years? What are the salaries? Where are the jobs located? All of that information is located in georgiafutures.org. And then it has every college and university in the world. If you want to visit any of them and find out, if you want to find out how many colleges are in Hawaii, you can actually go and visit virtually all of those in Georgia Futures. And also, there's extensive financial aid information and scholarship information. So, that's just something for those of you who are interested in broadening. Your high school counselors should have told you, your high school folks should have told you about it. Used to be Georgia College 411, it's now georgiafutures.org, but it's a good site to go in and set up your account. Patrick has posted the Georgia Futures link, and then he says, how do we balance reducing poverty, especially in Macon's Black community, and gentrification?
I read that question, and
Uh-huh.
the answer is the answer that you've been given ever since you've been on for the past 10 years: books and the ballot.
Books and the ballot.
That is the only way that we are going to reduce poverty. We have got to get our young people to be educated, to understand that school is not just a place for them to go and socialize, but for them to learn and to develop careers and look at what their goals are and then go after those career goals. Those who have made it in our society, Black people who came out of poverty, and I know a handful of people, and I'm in that list, who've come out of poverty because of books and the ballot. And of course, when we look at gentrification in our community, of course, people are moving back into the areas that were once I guess populated with poor people, because people had moved out into the suburbs. That trend is turning around. I think that it was Vice President on the uh, what was the Vice President on the Clinton name?
Uh, uh,
I can't,
I remember Patrick.
but he started when we were out in California, and he was talking about how uh, the amount of time that people use getting back for. And if you live in the suburbs in Atlanta, that's 2 hours to get to work, 2 hours to get back home. That's 4 hours a day. In 10 days, you have
Al Gore.
Al Gore. Yes, Al Gore.
Thank you,
He's-
folks. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, indeed. I see you.
Everybody.
It's just saying every now and then.
Yes, yes.
But Al Gore, and he started talking about that, of how uh, it was going to turn around because people didn't want to waste that time. That is 40 hours a week that you have lost with your family and something that's productive. So people start regentrifying and coming back into
Right.
those areas. And one of the things that they started doing is building the projects out in the suburb.
Right.
And that they are redeveloping homes that used to be rundown homes. Even here in Macon, you can see where homes in the downtown area have been redeveloped. And you go down Oglethorpe Street again, up on the high end, you'll see houses that were once divided up into apartments. Now they are beautiful homes that have come on place in place because people are realizing that they need that time. If they can work downtown and live downtown, that gives them more time to do some of the things that they want to do. And Al Gore was the one that started talking about that back in the 90s. And of course,
thank you, Patrick.
But he was vice president during Clinton. That's right. Yeah, we got it now.
Yeah. Everybody knew it, but everybody we couldn't remember.
But anyway, what the answer to that question still is the books and the ballot. Until we get that educational piece. That's why I was so proud of the young man who spoke last night. He was really, really dynamic. And, back in the day, you had to memorize your speech.
Oh, yeah.
And he had his memorized. He had a few notes there just to look down on.
We will go back to that format.
But he had that speech, realizing he had some very powerful things that he said. And until we can get all our young people to understand that education is their key to getting out of poverty, education is their key to improving their lives, then we're going to always be in poverty.
Right. It used to be that parents always said that. Their goal was for their kids to be better educated because it was kept from them.
Yeah, that's right.
Many of our parents or grandparents had to leave school to go to work or take help with the family. And over at EL High School, we have a number of folks who have come back who years ago had to leave school, but they've always wanted their high school diploma.
Exactly.
So they've come through, and every graduation we have someone who's a little older, but they are totally committed because that's just precious. Education is precious.
And like our parents told us, get an education so you can get a good job. We need to be telling them, get an education so you can make a good job.
Yeah.
But this generation that's coming along behind us, they can't even get the kids out of the 9th grade. But our parents were so proud of the fact that their children had graduated from high school and gone on to college. And now it's really a tragedy that as many of our kids don't get through the 9th grade.
That's true. That 9th grade is it's a year. Thank you, Patrick, for that reference to Newtown and building businesses downtown, diversity and initiatives. Thank you. And thank you to all of you who reminded us who was vice president. We knew we could depend on y'all. We had brain fog, but we were alive during that time, and we remember now. But we appreciate y'all. This is just such a wonderful group of folks who tune in every week. Thank you all. Once again, welcome. Thank you for tuning in to Ask Elaine. This is your voice, Commissioner Elaine Lucas, and my very special guest is none other than Reverend Dr. Henry Clay Thicklin. who has joined us today. He's the executive director of community affairs for Macon Bibbs government. And we've been talking about housing initiatives. We've been talking about all of the good things that are going on in our community that you need to know about, that you need to be a part of. We welcome those of you who have tuned in on AM, those who have tuned in on FM, and those who are watching us here on Facebook Live. We also want to thank all these folks here at Historic WDDO, the owners, the other staff folks who assist us and have assisted us for these years in presenting Ask Elaine to you. And we thank you all for your support. What's the reference that Patrick has
I don't know, but I
there?
see what Sharon Woodfall, she probably wasn't going to say anything, but she had to
Oh,
tune in and help
yeah,
us
it
out
was
with Al
Wolf.
Gore.
Yeah, yeah,
So
thank
she
you.
decided she'd let us know that. So
Yeah,
thank you so much, Ms.
yeah,
Woodfall.
yeah. Oh,
Uh,
High School Academy gives second chance at a high school diploma. That's
yes. Hmm.
EL High School. And by the way, Dr. Ficklin has been with us since the inception of EL High School. He serves as the chair of our educators board of
Advisors.
advisors, distinguished educators board of advisors, and has been all of these years. And he presides over our graduation ceremonies. And we have been so honored that 1,600 students have
That
allowed us to assist them
that is
to
just a
in getting their high school
tremendous
diploma.
statistic.
And I see these students around all the time, or they will call when they finish their high school diploma. They were able to either go on to college, go on to technical school, get a job, advance on their job, keep their job, but in every case, they advanced, they moved up. And some of the research says that the possibility is that you add $500,000 to your earnings capacity when you get your high school diploma. And so, wouldn't you want to add that kind of earning ability to yourself without and doing it legally?
Hmm.
And it builds the families who have young children. They become inspired
Tired.
when
Hmm.
they see their
Parents,
parents
that's right.
doing work and homework and studying. And most of the work, there's only so much stuff you learn and retain. And some of the work is the same kind of work that the students are doing in their
Classes.
classroom.
Hmm.
Because I tell the students 2 + 2 is 4. It's not going to change. CAT is cat.
Hmm.
It's not going to change. So when you learn it, you have it. And 2 + 2, if it in second grade or 12th grade, is still 4. So there's some basic things that you learn that you don't ever forget because you use it.
And I certainly agree with Pastor Watson. 1,600 is an awesome statistic. And we just owe so much thanks to you for that. That's
Well,
1,600 more people in Macon and Middle
families.
Georgia that
Uh-huh.
are doing better because of what you've done for
Well,
them.
I
And that
want to
is
thank
great.
the distinguished educators too, who come and who give their time. Nobody gets paid at EL High School. All of our fees go back into keeping the program going and keeping the fees low and affordable for these students. So 1,600, and we're marching toward 2,000. And um, if you're interested or you know someone who would like to complete their high school diploma, they've dropped out, have them to make contact with us. And Patrick says, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the median usual weekly earnings for adults ages 25 and over that lack a high school diploma is $493 compared to 678 for workers who have a diploma. That's an annual difference of $9,620. Go ahead, Patrick. Thank you so much. that makes our point.
Hmm.
You just make more money. You
Yeah.
feel better about yourself if you get the more education you get, the better job you can get, the more money you will make, and the better you will be able to take care of yourself and your family. You don't have to ask folks for as much. You don't have to depend on someone else. You can depend on yourself. And that feeling of accomplishment is everything.
And in addition to that, the mayor started the Mayor's
The
Literacy
literacy, yeah.
Alliance, and of course, that is going to help to get a lot more people involved in getting high school diplomas, because the Literacy Alliance itself, it doesn't deliver anything, but it helps support people in getting where they need to be in order to get what they need to have. And
Mhm.
that is such a great initiative. That was one of the things that happened under the Office
Yeah,
of
Jim
Community Affairs.
Montgomery, who is
Yeah.
the director, was
Yes.
on
Yeah.
not too long ago, and we're going to have him back
Oh,
on to
yes.
tell about the progress of that literacy. And that literacy is so important because it's going to pull parents in.
Yes.
We know parents want to be able to help their kids, and sometimes they don't feel like they know enough.
Mhm.
They didn't do well in school, or they didn't like school, or whatever it was. And so if we enhance what parents know and their perspective of school, then it will carry over
Mhm.
to the
And I would be
children.
remiss if I didn't point out that this whole concept and idea came about by Dr. Wanda West. I
Hmm.
remember the day
That's
that she
right.
came down and with this proposal of developing a Mayor's Literacy Alliance,
Right.
so we can improve the literacy and become a state
Hmm.
approved literacy agency. And it has taken some time, but
Right.
we have wrestled with it, and we finally got it going in place. And we were just really blessed to have Mr. Jim Montgomery
Right.
to come in with all his enthusiasm, energy, and know-how, and to just get
Yeah,
this
he's a
thing on the
retired
road.
educator
Yes,
and quite a performer.
oh yes. Mhm.
Patrick has referenced that news article with from Channel 24, which talks about the partnership between Macon Bibb County, the Bibb County School District, Central Georgia
Tech.
Technical
Mhm.
College, all partnering with the Mayor's Literacy
Yes. Mhm.
Alliance, and I think it's going to be great.
Yeah, all of that is something that the community. You said that we want to talk about
Oh yeah,
community affairs that
yeah.
came from under community affairs. I just wanted to, before I see that time is of the
Yeah, our
essence here
time
now.
goes by so
And of course,
fast.
one of the things that I'm very proud about, and we just interviewed a young lady today, we created the Mayor's Internship Program
Hmm.
to help young people who are in college or who have recently come out of college to develop some skills in government, maybe, and they develop these skills. They come and work
Hmm.
a 10-week internship, and we have really had a really good
You have.
results, and we've hired
What happened to those interns
uh,
after they finished their internship?
some of them have been hired by the government.
Uh huh.
They've done such a wonderful job. We have some that go back to school,
One
and they're
went to the chamber. One
you know,
was snatched up by
by the
the
chamber,
chamber.
yes.
Yeah, they were impressed
Yeah, and
with
then
her.
one went to California to a recycling plant.
Uh huh.
And we've had wonderful interns, and it's just a wonderful program. It's done really well for the students, the parents, and for our community to have this program in place. And so that's one of the things that we developed under the community affairs and the Sister City International. We
Uh
got
huh.
involved with Sister Cities International.
Tell them
And
what Sister Cities is
Sister
briefly.
Cities International is in 1956, President Eisenhower, after the war, decided that the world could be a better place and more peaceful if we knew people in other communities. And of course, he developed the Sister Cities International, and we developed a relationship with cities in other countries. Like we have a sister city relationship with Macon, France, that we
Mm-hmm.
just celebrated 50 years of being a sister city with them. We also have a sister city relationship in Ghana,
Ghana, Elmina. We
Elmina.
were on
We
Elmina trip. What was
trip
that? 2000
yeah, in
with Mayor
2000.
C. Jack,
Yeah.
former Mayor C. Jack
And
Ellis.
we have 11 sister city, relationships. We also have
Is
one in
Mayor
Russia.
back yet? Has he come back? He's in Africa all the time.
Yeah,
Mayor Ellis. He spends more time over there.
yeah. He
You remember
enjoys.
when they installed him? They had the special
I remember.
ceremony over there on the beach. Africa has beach area
Oh
now.
yeah.
That there's a section of Ghana that's on the coast, and they have
Oh,
the beach.
the
And we were out
beautiful
in this
beach. Yes.
area, and they had a special ceremony and
To
installed
him as one of
him.
the
So
chiefs.
he's a big deal
Yeah.
at there. Anyway.
But it was it and the sister city relationship is a wonderful relationship to help the world in their peace efforts. And of course, with we also have a relationship with Russia, with a city in Russia. I can't say the name of it. It's one of those
Mm,
words, and I can't
mm,
say it. But anyway, and we have been encouraged by Sister Cities International to not disavow our relationship with our sister cities in Russia, because we hope to be able to calm the area and keep more peace going.
hmm.
And hopefully, after this particular war is over with, and we hope that it will very soon be coming to an
Oh
end,
yes, yes.
that we can redevelop that relationship so that
Hmm.
we can have more peace in the world.
Right.
And they're going to be meeting next month in South Africa to just talk about and rekindle the whole idea of having sister cities. Another thing that we do, and we're going to meet tomorrow, we have the Georgia Civic Awareness Program for students called
Right.
GCAPS.
Wonderful
And
program.
this program is really a dynamic program where students in high school get a chance to learn about government. And we've been had various field trips, and the kids learn so much that they never knew about the operation of government.
Hmm.
Tomorrow we're going to be going in the downtown area, and you'd
Hmm.
be surprised at the number of students who's never been
Never been
downtown.
downtown. How many of you have, or it's been a long time
Time. Mhm.
since you went downtown? You need to take a trip downtown and see what your money built,
Oh yes, and
rebuilt.
so the GCAPS program is one of the programs that we're very proud of, and that we work very intensely to make sure that those students get that kind of exposure, because when they go off to college, uh, it would help them to determine what their careers are going to be. There's a lot of things that we've been working with. We work with the Family Justice Center, and of course, the Family Justice Center is something that is going to help
Oh, it's
communities
gonna
and
be
help
great. Hmm.
people with families and what have you. And I think they received $1.2 million grant
Hmm.
here just recently through our Senator Ossoff's
We've
office.
got to have them on too.
Yes, hmm
Hmm.
Sarah Shake does a really great job with pulling that together. And of course, there are just so many other things that our office is involved with. And one of the main things is that we are involved with the Council of Clergy for Racial and Economic Justice.
Hmm.
And we're going to be meeting again on February the 9th at the Tubman Museum.
Yeah, and the ministers who are part of that group are meeting regularly
Yes,
and charting a course for involvement and for healing
yes.
in this community. And Patrick has posted for us um, information, links, and he's posted information about
GCAPS.
GCAPS and a number of the other things. Patrick, you are just amazing. Thank you so much. During the election time, he posted stats
Oh, that
as
was
far
great.
as who had voted, who had
Had
not
not voted.
voted. And I would like to think that some of our listeners or those who are viewing got that information and used it to go and encourage some
Others to
folks
people
to
to go
make
and
those
vote.
numbers look better. So
Mhm.
we thank Patrick, and you hang in there with us, Patrick. You're just a wonderful. Thank you so much. We want to thank our volunteers at EL High School Academy. Ms. Joyce Humphrey, and Ms. Mary Jane Glover, who are our wonderful uh, uh, all time best. And Dr. Ficklin just sneaked out on us. He has an appointment. Always busy. But we want to thank them for volunteering. We want to thank my sister Nita for volunteering with a number of community events, including the school. We want to thank Sherry Shannon Miller, who helped to volunteer to pass out information for Black Voters Matter and other entities at the Living the Dream program, where Pastor Lisa Watson was the keynote speaker. We want to salute Pastor Laura Cherry, who brought the address on Monday at the culminating program for ML King. Y'all keep in touch. Go on the Make and Bib website for a listing of all the MLK events. We want to thank you and thank Dr. Fickling. Thank all of you for tuning in today, whether it was on AM or FM or here on Facebook Live. Thank you. We'll see you again next Wednesday when we will have another community guest. And I guarantee you, you will learn something on Ask Elaine. So, on behalf of myself, Senator Lucas sends his greetings. He's representing us up in Atlanta. Our engineer and staff folks here, the owners of this great station, all of our faith leaders, thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you again next week for another edition of Ask Elaine.